Okay, this is part two to the top 13 highest paying jobs. Wanted to keep that video under an hour, and we hit the hour mark, so cut it short. Well, I didn't cut it short, I cut it at an hour, and figured I would continue in another video. So we're picking up where we left off. We left off at number 13, which was an air traffic controller. So we're going to pick up at number 14, which is a pharmaceutical sales manager. So this pays between $80,000 and $140,000. There's a plus sign though at the end of that 140, and that's because it depends on the company and where you're at, and how good you are. So if you don't know, a pharmaceutical sales manager is going to oversee a team of pharmaceutical sales reps. So their job is to make sure that their sales reps are hitting their numbers. And they're going to do this in a variety of ways, but the most important one is making sure that they're doing their activities. So they're going to have certain um, amount of accounts that they need to go into every day. Um, it's usually around 7. You need to hit 6 or 7 accounts every day. And the reason they have that number in place is because if you do that, then you should be able to hit your performance metrics. So um, most of sales is hitting your activity metrics, which will yield you your performance metrics. So you focus on the activity, and then the performance will come. So $80,000 to $140,000 is pretty conservative. If you are an effective pharmaceutical sales manager, you're likely making around $500,000 or more. 80 to 140 is more in line with a pharmaceutical sales rep, and a pretty mediocre one at that. So there's big upside on this particular role. And pharmaceutical sales is not difficult to get into. Most people with just an average college degree can get one, and they'll train you themselves. The company will. Right. So, for instance, if you took a job opening for a pharmaceutical sales rep for Johnson and Johnson, they're going to train you, and you're going to do the job. And it's not necessarily an easy job. It's quite a bit of traveling, but there's big upside. And then, of course, you can grow with the company and become a manager. All right. I think that the rest of these 50 are going to probably get split over the several videos. Okay, a podiatrist. A podiatrist. They diagnose and treat conditions of the foot, ankle, and related structures of the leg. This is a doctor. So if you're a podiatrist, you are Dr. Johnson. Income range is 150,000 plus. And again, this is going back to a physician or a dentist or a lawyer. This is going to depend on if you're a podiatrist working for some other podiatrist that runs their own business, or if you run your own business. So 150,000 to 200,000, that's probably if you work for another podiatrist. But if you open your own clinic, you could make much more than that. So um, if you were to open your own clinic, you're probably looking at somewhere around $750,000 to $800,000 a year, and that's with one location. You could certainly make much more than that as a podiatrist running your own clinic, depending on how effective you run your business. Are you seeing a lot of patients? Are your costs very high? Do you have a very expensive building, so your overhead is very high? Are you billing properly? So all of those factors play in, just like they do if you were to be a physician. Okay, number 16, uh, pros- prosthodontist. Prosthodontist. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I probably am not. And they specialize in the replacement of missing teeth and the restoration of natural teeth. So um, it's a niche within dentistry, it appears, and um, and they're doing prosthetic teeth, so implants specifically. Now, this is also going back to dentistry, which we talked about in another video. This is going to be very much determined on production. How many are you doing? Are you doing them 24/7 nonstop, constantly doing implants? Well, in that case, you're making millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. But reasonably speaking, if you're doing maybe one or two a week, you're probably making about $200,000 a year. Again, that's pretty conservative for this particular job because think you became a dentist and then you got special training to do implants and and it's just a matter of filling your schedule with those implants, which are very high dollar ticket items. So if you have a really good marketing team and you're doing implants all day long, it's a lot of money. Number 17, patent attorney. We talked about being a corporate counsel in another video. And within being corporate counsel, you can have different specializations. One of those is a patent attorney. So a patent attorney is going to specialize in patents. So if you are a company that develops products, you're probably going to want a patent attorney if you're big enough to afford it. Because if you're creating unique products, you need to protect them with patents. And not only create patents, but keep active patents from expiring, which cost money and someone to manage. So income range on a patent attorney is about $150,000 and it could be more if you were maybe you started your own law firm that specialized in patents and you got a ton of clients and you became a very well-known and established law firm that does patents. Or you could be a very seasoned patent attorney for a big corporation that's constantly innovating and making new patents. Well, then you're going to make a lot more than $150,000. Okay, number 18, a psychiatrist. And I've always been curious about the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist. So a psychiatrist, they diagnose, treat, and prevent mental illness, and they can prescribe drugs to treat those. A psychologist will meet with you and give you practical advice to overcome any sort of mental shortcomings, feelings, tough times, etc. But they will not prescribe drugs. So if they feel as though you need a medication, they'll refer you to a psychiatrist to properly prescribe a medication that will work for you. So although very similar, there is a clear distinction between the two. And a psychiatrist is earning anywhere from 180 to 300,000. And again, that's depending on how many patients you're seeing and how effective your practice is. Because most of the time you are self-employed as a psychiatrist. So if your business is very successful, then you're generating a lot of revenue and you're making money not necessarily as a psychiatrist, but as a business owner. Okay, number 19, optometrist. And optometrists, they examine the eyes and other parts of your visual system. They diagnose and treat visual problems and manage diseases, injuries, and other disorders of your eyes. So income range for an optometrist is 90 to 150,000, and that's on the conservative side. These are doctors, so if you do open your own clinic, you're probably looking more like 300 to 400,000 if you run a successful optometry clinic, and that's maybe for one location. We'll get into number 20 in the next video.